Hello and welcome everyone to Hidden Existence. Hope everybody's doing all right out there tonight. We've got a great show tonight. Got some interesting guests from all the way from Utah. It is, both of you actually.
Both of us.
Both of you. We've got Josh and Marianne from Tipa TV. How are you doing, guys?
Doing well.
You're doing really good.
Good. You have a very interesting channel. I know you're into the exploring, the ghost hunting, and but the main thing is that it's the love the journey motto that you have, and kind of like living in the moment. And it seems like everywhere you go, something happens. But it's like how you deal with it, and I really enjoy watching your videos. But how do you guys get into it? And how did you two connect? And were you doing this before you met, or was it?
Well, as far as
on the journey,
a lot of good questions.
Yeah.
Well, as far as YouTube started, it's kind of ironic actually. We were sitting home watching another content creator. He was doing a video where he was out randonauting. And he ended up at this child's playground that was right next to a cemetery. And we got halfway through the video, we paused it, we downloaded the app, we jumped in the car, and we took off, and we just started filming. Didn't even finish the show. And the first time out, I mean, I got chased off by a cow, and we saw some weird kids just sitting in the middle of a yard in the dark, and we thought, wow, this is fun. So we started doing a couple more and just doing some videos, uploading it. And we were shocked that our channel just took off. We were shocked that everybody was enjoying what they were watching. So it kind of pushed us into start doing more videos and start putting more of our focus into it to where we're at now, doing it full time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the paranormal field,
yeah, so we actually have known each other for like 14, 15 years or something like that. And we met because I was trying to get on his investigation team, which obviously I did. And we have footage of the first day we met. So that's pretty cool. We ran that team for a long time. And then of course life kind of happened, and as it does, kind of didn't get to do as much of that probably within the last couple of years, but we, just here and there, not as regular, but then we just saw the perfect opportunity it kind of keeps coming back into your life. You know what I mean? It just kind of keeps circling back around, and we're like, what is it with this? It just keeps pulling us back in. And so we found the perfect opportunity to really just go for it and show the world, this time on a different scale. Our day business was a media production company, and so it kind of just fit with all of the we're already set up for it to show everybody.
Yeah, it's like you've been picking up the skills along the way, and suddenly you can bring them all together and start doing what you love doing. So let's go back then when you said you wanted to join. What were you doing 14 years ago? The team you wanted to join, what was that?
Well, I was running a team back then. It's kind of a weird situation because I formed a team, and it was called Tipa Research. And what I was supposed to be doing was a tech support for the local paranormal groups. So my crew would go out and run surveillance cameras, run audio equipment. We'd run all the equipment for the local paranormal groups that couldn't afford it or didn't know how to do it or didn't have the manpower to do it. And we just run our equipment for them, and then at the end of it, we'd give them all the footage and let them review it. And then it slowly started progressing into people contacting me directly, wanting us to conduct the investigation and not just the tech support. I wasn't prepared for that because I'm tech oriented. I know equipment, I'm technical, I understand wires and cords and all that. But when it comes into what my view of a paranormal team was, I didn't have all the tools that were necessary. I needed people who could do research. I needed to have people who could do, communication with people and kind of be able to read them to see where they're at mentally and spiritually. And I needed other people to help with so many different avenues. So I started recruiting members into the group that could help form it into an actual paranormal team. And I was doing an investigation at a place called Stockton Miners Cafe, which was just a small little cafe. And the person who invited us out asked if she could bring a friend. And I said, yeah, sure, bring your friend. And
I
no
was the
problem.
friend.
She was a friend. And so she came and she had her night vision camera and all her equipment and everything. And so we just did the investigation that night, and I kind of watched how she was conducting herself, and I was really impressed. So I sat down with her after the investigation was over, and I said, would you like to become part of this team? And she fortunately said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
Kind of. So let's touch on what about, did you have any paranormal experiences yourself before you got into having the team? I mean, was there a reason?
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go first if you
want. Yeah. I've had experiences ever since I was itty bitty, and where I grew up, it was very taboo to discuss. You just you didn't understand it, therefore it was bad, and that's just kind of the environment I was brought up around, and I knew somewhere in my guts that I wasn't looking for it. I was a kid. I didn't. What do you know, right? There's a reason why you're experiencing this. There's a reason why you're having these occurrences, and so I just kind of secretly started to kind of hone it in within myself, and best I can with sources with help letting my parents know, and then you grow up and you get busy and you just kind of block it out as you do, but it again came full circle, and it just kept coming around like there's more to this, and I thought maybe there's a reason. There's got to be a reason, and what better place to explore your gifts than when you're investigating? So I thought, well, I got to join a team. I've got to start a team. I got to be part of something so that I have basically the lab. I needed the lab.
Yeah. So how can you tell us how what you use to when you're investigating? What are you kind of honing in on, or what's working? What comes up for you?
Well, as far as approach goes, it varies every time we go out. We just kind of feel the area and kind of think of what feels like it would fit, because we could branch out from everywhere from the fancy, K2s and Mel meters and spirit boxes, but sometimes we go old school where we just use a candle. Mm-hmm. Or, we can just use smoke. We use a fog machine with lasers sometimes. Sometimes we just ask questions to the dark and not worry about all the equipment and just have an audio recorder running just to see if we could get reactions. Other times we'll get a little bit more creative and we'll use flashlights, or we recently started using cat balls. Little balls that cats play with that light up when they move.
Oh, right, yeah.
But really, it's just kind of on a case-by-case basis. I'm mostly known for flashlights, talking to flashlights and getting responses from them. Mm-hmm. But, I in the paranormal field, I kind of acquired the nickname for the longest time as the paranormal deterrent. And the reason why is because I would go into a haunted area and all the activity would stop.
It would.
Nothing would happen the entire time I was in there. But the minute I leave, all the activity kicks back up again. So people used to want me to sit in the trailer and watch the cameras so they could actually experience something. But, yeah.
So you obviously didn't have any sort of fear. You seem to feel like, maybe you're protected in some way.
I kind of believe so. I mean, most what I've learned about the whole paranormal field in general is it's all theories, it's all speculations, and it's all viewpoints of individuals. There's not one definitive answer. And so when a lot of people would talk about, being gifted or being sensitive or being something like this, I never really thought much into it because I was the deterrent. But later on in the years, I started to think maybe my role in the paranormal field was to be more of a protector for people who were overly sensitive, that wasn't able to block or to control everything that was coming into them. So by having me there with them, that helped kind of keep it under control and keep it safer. And so I kind of tend to lean that direction. I still have had experiences. I've still seen apparitions. I've still seen object manipulation. I've still had my own experiences, but they're very few and far between. And I'm okay with that, because if I know that I'm protecting Marianne, then I'd rather protect Marianne instead of having a rock get thrown past me.
Yeah, definitely. And so what about you, Marianne? What do you feel you bring when you're going out and doing those kind of investigations?
Well, I started to, and this was kind of with the help of a teammate of ours way back in the very beginning. Really opened my eyes one night and just kind of, I just needed that permission. I knew I had it, but just hearing that it was a safe space, it really allowed me to kind of develop a little bit more about these pieces of me that I didn't know I really had, and that they were okay. They're not, bad, but I don't know, just it really kind of depends on the situation too. Going in, I'll go out and feel a location. Sometimes I tell people, please don't tell me anything about it. I really just don't want to know, because I don't want to be swayed by anything. It's harder when your subconscious already knows something to pretend you didn't hear it, and go through. I do use equipment. I do use, all of that kind of stuff too. But like you said, it really just kind of depends. There are days where I say, hey, look, I just want to sit in this room in the dark by myself for a minute. And that's okay. And sometimes I don't get the feeling like that really anywhere. It just, I don't know.
It's in the moment, I guess.
It's in the moment.
Feeling it in the moment when you're there.
And sometimes it'll smack you right in the face. And some, like I'm right here, whoa, then of course, then we'll say, hey, let's try and see if we can confirm this by our gadgets. But I go through mostly feeling it before, I would say, okay, here, you're going to want to put your camera here because there's something weird going on over here. You're going to want to put your cameras over here or your audio over here.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of good.
What's the possibility, do you think that these kind of feelings that we have are not necessarily paranormal, but something within us that's completely separate from anything, under that umbrella? Did you feel that? Do you agree with that?
I do. I mean, when I was, running the team real strong and real hard, I started learning more about psychology. I started learning more about certain thought processes, people's positioning, communication. And some people who were claiming that they were psychic, what they were actually doing without realizing it was they were reading people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they were reading people, they were getting certain cues out of their body motions, certain cues out of the way they respond to certain questions, their eye movements. And they were taking those cues and then putting the story together and then saying the story out loud. And I'm not saying they were faking. I'm just saying that what they were doing was actually more of a psychological and an analysis standpoint versus a psychic standpoint that had spirits talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be really, really careful when we took on cases. We didn't want to take on cases where the client's mentality was not in a safe spot. We didn't want to take on cases where they thought it was just a three-of-the-ring circus and they could brag to all their friends.
Right.
We had to deal with a situation with a daughter and found out the night of the investigation that the father was an alcoholic, which obviously doesn't work. There's a lot of real, or not real, but there's a lot of non-paranormal things that need to be addressed before you can actually start getting more information out of the paranormal. Um, so yeah, a lot of it can be psychological. A lot of it can be gifts that people had that weren't really paranormal. They're just more observation.
I think we all have gifts, though. I do. It doesn't necessarily mean they are the same, or um, or they come to us in the same way. I could be. I mean, if you put somebody next to me and we have the same information, I could get mine through dreams, but they could hear it.
Mm.
You know, it's just how we receive them. It's just how we're wired or whatnot. I mean, there's probably a physiological thing going on there too, but
Well, some people can be more, have more empathy than another person, or
exactly.
and that again can open up different channels, I think, in the way you think and what you attract back as well. Because I think there's a lot of that in it as well, is you're attracting a lot of the things around you, whether it's on a subconscious or conscious level. But yeah, I mean, we're all different. Like you say, I think we've all got gifts. It's just maybe you need something for it to trigger, something for it to show you, or for you to see yourself. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people tend to block it too, because
We've seen
a lot of people when they're children, if they have experiences, they go to mom and dad and say, "Hey, I just saw a man standing in the closet." And mom and dad say, stop messing around, or you're just imagining it, or it's not, you were sleeping, it was a bad dream. They get shut down at an early age, so they start blocking it out at an early age, and then later on they don't ever open back up. I still feel like there's a lot more people out there like me whose role is to be more of a protector. They just don't recognize it. They go out there and they get frustrated because they don't have activity after activity, and they don't have experience after experience. They get frustrated, and they either just say it's all fake, or they say I don't want to do it anymore. It just doesn't make sense. But they don't realize what they're doing is actually protecting themselves and the people around them. And they just don't know. You don't hear conversations about that as much.
Yeah.
You always hear about the psychics, and you always hear about the people who are sensitive and intuitive and all that. But you don't hear about the people that don't really carry a lot of those traits, but yet their role is just as important. I just don't think people see that as much.
Absolutely.
As they should.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, let's move into now what you're doing now with your exploring these journeys that you're taking, the roads that just have big gaps in them and you have to get out of there really quick, and all sorts of things. How are you? I mean, it seems like a real laugh, but it's not when you're getting out there. How you go out there that time of night on those roads, that place you went to. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. What if you broke down? I mean, you're just in the middle of nowhere. It feels like it. But I guess your kind of adrenaline's going when you're going out there and following. How do you pick these places?
Well, Randonautica helped pick a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then some of them we just went back to and started doing having other experiences. The one where the road just kind of disappeared in front of us. We were going back to try to do another overnight at a tunnel where we had some issues previously. And when we were there, we were waiting for some people to leave, and they started setting off fireworks or shooting a shotgun or something inside the tunnel. And so we said, this isn't going to work tonight. So we decided we're just going to go four-wheeling in the dark and taking roads that we'd never been on before. And so we found ourselves in some pretty pretty bad situations. We got lost for 2 hours one time on
Yeah.
dirt roads, and we were just driving around in circles trying to figure out where to go. But yeah, it's our personalities. I mean, we work really well together.
Yeah, we do.
In a lot of ways, we're total opposites, but in a lot of ways, we work. We help each other through things. Like that road, when I was backing up, and she was like, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? How can I help?" And it was like, "Just be calm.
Yeah.
Be calm.
Stifle it.
You stay calm. I'll stay calm." And we were able to back out just fine and get out of there. But there's a lot of times where she'll look at something in a very analytical kind of way, and she'll start recognizing things that I won't, because I tell people I'm very simple, not simple-minded, but I'm
No.
very simple.
Yeah.
So I look at things in the simplest of ways to find solutions. And
Yeah.
sometimes that really gets us out of some bad spots.
Yeah.
But sometimes that just puts us in a worse spot, like being on a dirt road with a big drop off in front of us.
I think the only blessing there was it was at night in a way, because I think if you'd have seen in the daylight the drop and everything around you, that might have been even more scary. I don't know. I could just imagine it. I've done it myself. I was saying before about being a truck driver, and you're driving at night up these little roads, and
Oh yeah.
you wake up in the morning, you see exactly where you're at, and you just can't believe how you even got there. If only because of the night, and you just can only see that little bit of road in front of you.
Yeah, we did go back. We did go back during
Yeah, we
the day
did.
and walked that road. But yeah,
What was the intention of going up there? What was actually, was it sending the, I guess the app was sending you up there, was it, for something?
Not on that one. On
Yeah.
that one, like I said, we were going to do an overnight in the tunnel, and with those guys out there, we just decided to bag trying to do the overnight. So we just hopped in the truck and just started driving. And so
Someone had mentioned earlier that there was another tunnel in the area, and so I kind of was wondering if there isn't, by the way. But we were trying to maybe see if there was one, and found out that half the road was washed out.
But honestly, it goes back into what you were saying. I mean, we have really emphasized, especially since we started this channel and everything that we've been going through the past few years, it all boiling down to love the journey.
Absolutely.
Because we have fought tooth and nail, working 9-to-5 jobs, just trying to make enough to pay the bills. And, you know, we had no life. We could go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home. And we weren't loving it. We weren't having fun. We weren't, you know.
We weren't living life.
And so one of the first times we actually went out doing the randonauting, we ended up in this tunnel that goes underneath a freeway. There's a whole bunch of graffiti spray painted up and down this tunnel. There's this one spot inside the tunnel that had the heart, and somebody had wrote "Love the Journey" inside of it. And we actually took a picture of that graffiti, and we took that picture and brought it in as our own logo. And it just increased from that point. Every time we went out, we always came back with a smile on our face. Every time we uploaded a video, we had a new friend on our channel reaching out to us, telling us their stories, thanking us for taking them along our journey with us. And you know, we said from the early on that we want to get to a point where we could go out and meet as many of the fans as we can. And we grew so fast, and the recognition of who we are grew so fast. We're actually hitting the road in 2 days to do just that. We're going to be traveling the country for 3 weeks, meeting up with fans and meeting up with other content creators. Some nights we'll be sleeping in the car. Some nights we'll be sleeping in a hotel. We don't care, because our main drive is to be able to meet these people face to face that have told us how much we have affected their lives. And it changes our lives to hear that. You know?
Yeah, it's affected us too. I mean, we've really grown a good family, really, and it's very powerful, even from this end, you know, to communicate and see the stories and just.
Yeah, it's we were talking about this before, weren't we? And I know Kerry's in tonight, and he'll agree as well that, you know, just being yourselves can actually bring a lot to people. Just doing simple things that you like to do, can bring a lot to other people, and you don't realize the impact. That just one action or one little video can make on people, and it's really heartwarming when you get a letter, email, not a letter. I mean, we don't get letters anymore, do we? Back in the 80s. But, I can't remember the last time I sent a letter to anyone. But yeah, it's so nice to hear from people, to know that you've done something for them. You've helped them in the day, or made something a little bit better for them. So yeah, that is good. So where are you going? Where are you starting from? Where are you heading to? This is a 3-week journey. It sounds like fun.
It's going to be a blast. I am so excited.
I will tell you, like I've said on our own shows, I'll tell you as much as I know.
Okay, that's all we can.
Go. That's as much as I know. She's going to tell me where to go. So
I'm the navigator. So if we get lost, it's my fault.
Yeah.
But no, I've been working really hard on the analytics part of it. Trying to really get the business side of it done and organized. So we're on track. But
we're starting off obviously in Utah.
Yeah, we're starting off here in Utah, and then going to New Mexico, hitting Texas, driving down through the southern states to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, Massachusetts, Illinois, Michigan.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's going to be a long drive.
Kansas, Iowa. I mixed them up. And then back home. I think I'm forgetting a couple, but you get the route. It's basically a big circle.
We're traveling the country. So we're also going to be doing live streams daily.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a live stream, let people know where we're at, what we're doing,
that we're still alive.
Next, that we're still alive. We have a lot. Like I said, we love our fam just as much as they love us, and they worry about us. In fact, we had to give a couple of people our contact information, so if we disappear off the radar for a while, somebody can actually call and make sure that we're okay. And they've had to utilize that number a couple of times. So if we're doing live streams every day, not only will they see where we're at or know that we're okay, but they're going to be on the journey with us. Absolutely. They're going to see all these different sights. They're going to see all these different sceneries, see the people that we're meeting up with along our journey, and then also see us sitting side by side with people like Rooted Expeditions, or standing side by side with Rochelle G, because a lot of them are so excited just to know that we're going to be meeting them face to face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you spend a lot of time talking to him. I know you do the late show with Zach. You co-host the Sunday show with Zach, the live, and you guys, John Sparks as well. I mean, there's quite a few of you that get together. So I think will be fun. It's great. The channel makers, are all coming together and sharing what they're doing. And maybe you're all slightly different in a way, but it's still an interesting mix of people. And it all kind of mingles in, doesn't it? All kind of gels together. You've got a good connection there, I think, with those guys.
Absolutely. I mean, like I was saying about our fam, when I say our fam, I'm including them in that term, because from day one when we talked with Rochelle G, she kept telling us we were part of her tribe, and it feels like friendships that have been around for years, even though it's only been months.
Yeah.
And then with Zach, and the thing I love about all of us too is that we're supportive of one another. We're helping each other out, helping them grow their channel. I mean, Zach had questions about editing, and he reached out to me, and I have no problem sitting down for a couple hours and saying, okay, let's go through it. She talks with Rochelle on a daily basis. And we're constantly supporting each other, constantly building each other, sharing each other's videos. And our fam even got to the point where they created a logo or emoji combination with a heart and an owl and a roll of toilet paper. And so when we say, okay, go over and watch this channel, and drop the logos, that it's their way of showing the tip of love for all these other creators out there, even if they have no idea who we are. And this is something that our fam created. We didn't ask them to. It was
Mhm.
all theirs, and they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even rated your channel a few times, and you just see it blowing up. Yeah, they're
There it
starting to
is,
show
yeah.
up in the chat.
There's loads of them. There's new faces in tonight. I know I've come
Mhm.
from your fam. Got a couple of questions just before we go any further. Hang on a sec. Let me see. I think this is Lockbeard. Does everyone agree with me in the chat? This is Lockbeard. When do you do your live streams?
Well, on our normal schedule, we do Sunday fam chat at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then we usually will do a live stream after we do a premiere on Tuesday, which usually drops the live stream usually comes in at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and on Fridays at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
But things are going to be crazy for the next 3 weeks, so we're going to be doing
Yeah.
live streams every day as soon as there's something to stream about. So we don't really have a set schedule for the next 3 weeks as far as what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be a little sporadic for the next little bit, but understandably so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm just going to drop your the link catches in the description for people to go and check out their channel. So if you go and if you want to follow what they're doing, and then next 3-week journey around whatever coast it is, I don't know. It's not really.
The
You're kind of
East
going the East Coast, Utah, back to Utah in a circle. Go and check them out, because what I like about them is they have fun when they're doing it, and they just deal with everything in a great way, and it's interesting. It will be an interesting journey to follow, I think. Where's the most kind of craziest place you've ended up at?
Ever, or from our channel, or
Well, ever.
Let me think here. Do you have a place?
Well, I was just thinking.
Yeah, let me
because
think.
we don't want dead air. The craziest place, I don't really have anything that jumps out as far as the craziest place, but the most impactful place I had ever done was a residential case, and it was a very emotional case for me, which actually made me break out of my normal character because my emotions just came flowing out. It was we got contacted by a client who was living in like a threeplex. Yeah, if you don't know what a threeplex is, it's just like 3 apartments side by side.
Okay.
That's it. And there was a story a few years prior to this of a little girl, I think she was like 7 or 8 years old, who she ended up disappearing. And the whole community came together trying to help locate her, and nobody could find her. And then 2 weeks later, the police went to this apartment, and after investigating it for the second time, they found her body down in the basement, shoved inside of a plastic tote. Fast forwarding a couple of years, the person who was staying in that apartment at that point contacted us because they knew us through a friend of a friend, and they just said that they were having so many problems in this apartment, they wanted to know if we'd come out and take a look and see what we could do. So we did our normal routine where we went out, sat down with them and interviewed them, asked them some questions, kind of read their profile to see if they were serious or if they were just somebody, whatever. And we took them serious. And so we decided to set up an investigation for that following weekend. And I'm leaving a lot out, but it's just to make it fit the time slot. But during the investigation, we were down in the basement trying all our, equipment, flashlights and stuff like that, and crawling on the dirt and everything like that. And so we had to empty our pockets out so I could crawl around underneath the flooring. And then afterwards, we came out and went upstairs for a minute to recoup, and I realized I left all my stuff that I took out of my pockets down in the basement. So I went down there to collect my things, and I turned around and started going up the stairs, and something just drove me to reach into the pile of dirt that was behind the stairs. And so I stuck my hand in and I pulled out a photo album. And I took the photo album to the top of the stairs, opened it up, and it was a photo album of the guy who committed the murder.
Wow.
And so he had there weren't graphic pictures or anything. They were just of him like holding a cat or him just being who he was. But it created instant anger with all of us because we knew of the act he had committed. So we decided to take the book outside. And while we were outside, I started hearing screams of a male coming from inside the house. It wasn't like screams of anger. It was more screams of pain, a male voice screaming in pain. So we decided to go back in. The air in the apartment was just thick. It was just, you could feel the tension in this apartment. And it was me and 3 other investigators. 2 of them were sensitive. And so me and the other investigator said, we're going to go back down into the basement. The other 2 were like, nope, I'm not going down there. You guys are nuts. Good luck. I'll stay up here on the couch by the front door, ready to run. So me and the other investigator went back down to the basement and set up some flashlights, and I started talking to what I believe to be the spirit of this little girl. And I told her that I believe I had found what was preventing her from leaving the basement. I explained that I felt like the photo album with the images of the man who had committed the murder, who's still alive, by the way, is in prison. But I said, I believe the images of the man who committed the murder being right at the bottom of the staircase was preventing the spirit from passing through that threshold because of the man's image. And I explained that we had removed the book, and so he is no longer there. So now she was able to leave, to go past that threshold. And we set a couple of flashlights up on the steps, and at one point I asked if it would turn on the flashlights while it was going up the stairs, and one by one you could see the flashlights turning on. Then the other investigator yelled up the stairs and said, when you're in the kitchen above us, can you stomp on the floor to let us know that you're still on your way out? A second later, we heard a thump on the floor right above our head. Then the 2 other investigators who didn't know what was going on, they could see us on the camera, but they couldn't hear us. They said the front door swung open and then swung shut like somebody had walked through the door. And all of a sudden, their energy just lifted, and all of a sudden, everything was gone. And after that, according to the client, everything had just gone away. All the tension, all the stress, all the activity, everything had finally passed. The irony is that the person who was living there was friends with the uncle of the girl who was murdered. And without telling him that we were there, they talked the next day, and he told her that he had a vivid dream of this little girl visiting him in the middle of the night, telling him that everything's going to be okay and not to worry anymore. And he had no idea what we were doing. And so all the pieces started connecting together, and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
You know, we actually helped somebody, which is our whole purpose. So
yeah,
that was probably one of my biggest.
Yeah. I can't follow that up very well.
I
I mean, mine are so. I'm thinking because all of my experiences are. It seems like every location is so different from one another.
Maybe crazy was the wrong word for me to use. Maybe the more. What have been the most memorable? I think. Well, probably experiences.
Yes, there have been a couple. A lot of our fam knows this one, but on one of them, we were at a location doing kind of a what do you call it? A meet and greet sort of a thing. And they were on a sort of a tour in this part of the building. I went down to the lobby with another gentleman. It was just us, and I lost focus for just 1 second, just a hair, and I couldn't blink my eyes. And I started feeling really stuck, energetically stuck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your brain's still working like, okay, something's wrong here, but you're kind of paralyzed for a second. I was lucky enough to kind of break out of that, just enough to start walking. And I just told myself, don't stop walking. But I could feel a gentleman trying to latch on. I could feel his heartbeat on top of mine. And Josh ended up coming down with, he had down the stairs with a full spectrum cam, and shot shot me with a couple of different spectrums of light, and you could see the gentleman, his face on top of mine. You can see mustache right here, and I've got a beard going on, and the my face widening. I mean, it was kind of
jaw squared out.
It was kind of a freak of nature sort of thing, but
yeah.
But you could see it, and where I'm telling this, it was nice so that everyone else can, you can't say, hey, feel this too. They either do or they don't,
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see. That was pretty, I would say that was probably crazy because,
That was pretty crazy. Because when you see somebody's face changing into somebody else's face right in front of you.
Yeah.
Morphine. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
You want to see, is it?
But it was kind of good validation too to say, look, I'm not a wackadoo. Like, this is really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily he never really attached, but.
Have you had attachments then?
Yeah, I have.
Right.
Usually short-lived, but
How do you deal with them? How do you deal with them? Can I just, is anybody, Zach, are you, Zach's in the chat, but it's not under his rooted expedition. Have you been blocked? Do you feel like you've been blocked, Zach? Can you not comment? So I've just had an email from someone as well who can't comment, who I definitely haven't blocked anybody. So either email me at that Danielle at Hidden Existence if you're struggling, if you can see the show but you can't comment. If you have any problems, please let me know, and then I'm just going to have a look into my settings and see if you guys are blocked. But as far as I know, I haven't blocked you. Sorry about that.
No worries.
No problem.
I wanted to flag it up because I don't, there's obviously something a bit, I can't work out what's up with Zach. So,
that is weird.
Yeah, he knows what YouTube's playing at.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Just drop him into the show.
Yeah, we should do, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
I mean, he likes to come on. I think he's going on something else tonight. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's still in, even. But give us a shout if you are, Zach. Here we go. I know Danielle didn't block me. I think it's you. Oh, so you do feel like you've maybe been blocked, do you? Let me have just a quick look.
Weird.
Why we're doing this, and then
YouTube has done some pretty weird things lately.
Yeah,
so
kind of.
They were deleting links off of all of the premieres and live streams for a while. And
the other thing it's done for me in the past is unmodded people, turned them from moderators back to just.
Really?
Yeah, twice that's happened. So, you're in blocked. Rooted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Shame.
Too much time, Zach. You gotta zip it, Zach. Come on, man.
Really mad. And the guy who's just emailed me, I'm just unblocked you now. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
so I wonder who else is in that list. It's worth you guys maybe just checking through your hidden users list, because I definitely wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy.
So
weird.
If you can chat in the chat, you haven't been blocked. But if you can't chat and you can't comment, you've been blocked for some reason, please send me an email and I'll unblock you.
It's nothing personal.
Absolutely not. I mean, I've just been talking to Zach tonight for like an hour or so before the show. There's no way, I blocked him. That is so weird.
Yeah.
So
Lisa Anderson, she said she asked us a question earlier with no response.
Sorry, Lisa, can you put it up again? I'll have a look back and see if I can see it. It only saves 50 messages, 50 comments.
But while we do that, I do want to put out for a lot of your followers, a lot of your people, I would love to do some more searching for Bigfoot. There's people that would like to invite us out, if there are people that would like to bring us on board for an excursion or two, we would love to, because the paranormal isn't just about ghosts. It's about Bigfoot.
It could be. It could be, couldn't it? There's certainly
a lot of unknowns.
We have a lot of night vision stuff that we can use too. So.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, how did you get into? Have you had any experience? Have you heard any stories of Bigfoot?
No. we had one story going around for a while about Goat Man, but it turned out to be a guy in costume. So that was all over the news. It was sad, but no. But we are starting to think more and more of a certain area where we're at. There are skinwalkers.
Yeah.
Right.
We're starting to see more and more signs of what very likely could be a skinwalker, but. I mean, it's like I said, it's going back to loving the journey. It's not just about one thing or another. I think going out and seeing what it's like to be on, looking for Bigfoot and things like that with a crew of people who are experienced,
Yeah.
would definitely be good. Because just like us, when we were investigating mines and stuff like that, we found people that were experienced in the mine systems to take us in. So we knew we were safe, but we also knew the right approach that people were taking, so we didn't miss something or overlook something. And I would love to go out and do a couple of experiences looking for like Bigfoot and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
With our personality, you never know. We might start giggling at some point for
I probably
there's something in the bush, growling, giggle.
Yeah.
I probably would.
Maybe,
It's definitely an interesting subject, isn't it? To
Oh, yeah.
look into. And I feel like without some sort of equipment, it's going to be really hard to tell what's out there unless you've got some sort of thermal night vision and cameras to really document what's going on. Because there's a lot of stuff out there as well, isn't there? A lot of other creatures and things. So, Flat Rock, you're back in. You were blocked. Don't know why.
Mm.
And Rooted, it looks like Zach is.
Yay!
Zach's in, but he's going. He's got a show, I think, in 10 minutes over on Central Florida BIGFOOT.
Oh, okay.
With Matt.
Very cool.
Yeah. So everyone will have to go out and check Zach out over there in a little bit. Right. Sorry, Lisa. She asked the question, are you ready for your big trip?
No.
There you go.
I've been rewiring the car because with all our equipment and everything being in there for 3 weeks, we're going to have to do a lot of recharging our batteries. We're going to have to do a lot of recharging. So I actually had to rewire part of the car so I could have 5 extra USB ports so I could plug in our equipment and have it on charge while we're driving. And then getting all our equipment together and ready to go. The last of the equipment we had to get ready is that camera and charger cord and a couple other little things. Fortunately, we didn't pack this up.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as planning wise goes, I think we have a pretty solid plan. We know it's going to be flexible because we don't know what's going to happen when we're on the road.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing live streams, is so people will see if we have a delay and why we're having a delay. But as far as excited, we are very, very, very excited
We're
to go.
so excited.
We have a lot of really cool people to meet up with. And I mean, a lot of our fam has even helped fund this trip. I mean, they gave us donations to help, make sure we had enough gas and we could actually eat food other than potato chips. And some of them are setting us up in rooms, and some other fans are sending us care packages. And we got some really good pieces of equipment just for emergency purposes. We got Lisa actually sent us a really big battery booster kit, so if our car dies, we could jumpstart our car, but it'll also fill up tires, and we could also use it to help charge our equipment on top of using the car. But it's also scary. I mean, when you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, I'm going to travel across the country, visit a bunch of people I've never met face to face before, being in areas I've never been before, there is a little bit of this is kind of scary, but we know it's going to be worth it. We know we're going to love every minute of it, and we know it's going to be a hell of a journey for all of us.
Yeah.
I think scary and excited kind of blend into one another, don't they? And you got to look at it like an adventure, haven't you? Or you can do, rather than a scary kind of thing that's going to happen. We've got another question in the chat. If anyone's got any questions, put them in caps, please, and then I can see them a lot easier. Tazul, Kalu. What do you think? Feel about Sasquatch and them in Utah? There's plenty of them around there, apparently.
Honestly, you know, growing up here, pretty much my whole life, I haven't heard a lot of conversation about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the curiosity and our drive and willpower to go out and look for them, I'm totally down to do. Like I said, I just want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. Because other than the obvious concerns about safety, there's other obvious safety issues too. You know, falling off a cliff, you break a leg, you get bit by a rattlesnake, you know, you might get attacked by another type of animal, you know. So understanding the safety protocols while you're out there doing it, I think that's where I would need more education on. Do I believe they're around? Yeah, I believe that there's a possibility they're everywhere. Just like I believe that there's a possibility that skinwalkers are around more than we realize. Just like I know spirits wander the earth, you know. Personally, I think it would be a really exciting journey to go out and search for one safely. Well, as safe as you can, I guess. How about you?
Yeah, well, I haven't really heard a lot about them in Utah either. Mostly it's back east in the Appalachians and stuff where I've heard, and I don't know if it's just because I don't know if there's more folklore or people just more out to look. I don't know if people just don't believe here and so they don't talk about it. Doesn't mean there aren't any. We just
don't talk about it or hear about it. Yeah.
Well, even the paranormal field here, I mean, for the longest time, it was taboo to talk about. And it's like now it's becoming more popular. I mean, it's like anything else around here, though. I mean, most of our local friends, most of the people we grew up with locally and who are still local to us, they have no clue we even have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yeah, whatever. You know, that's the kind of response you get. Yeah, whatever. You really believe in that? Let's go do something else. Let's not talk about that, you know. But getting with people that are actively pursuing it or researching it or exploring it in one way, shape, or of another, that's what I'm saying. You know, if they want to hook up and if they want to invite us along on some of their journeys, we would love to join them. So,
Sounds good. And I'm sure we'll talk after the show. Pretty sure I can hook you up with a couple of people already.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
who we can do that.
We'll be
Bonnie's beautiful chaos. Tipa trepidation, meeting strangers face to face, but all will be fine. I think that's a hedgehog. We will go easy on you.
She's one of our first stops.
Yeah, she is our first stop.
Oh, exciting.
I'm excited.
She keeps telling me that she has a big surprise for me, and then she has a surprise for her that's Josh approved. So we're kind of curious to know what this is.
Nice.
I did see another question in there from Ruby.
Yeah, I'm going down to have a look at them. Let's just let me ask one thing. Tell me, what's the toilet paper about?
Oh, yeah.
Zach's channel.
Okay,
After party.
all right.
His big question of over or under, and I said I don't care as long as it's available. As soon as we got off the show, I went in the bathroom. There was a cardboard roll, and I came in to address it to her. I said, "This is what I was talking about." She grabbed her phone, hit record, and recorded it. And I was like, "This is what I was talking about. I don't care if it's over or under, as long as it's available." She uploaded that video, and so ever since then, we got tagged with toilet paper. So now when we're doing lives, and somebody gives us a super chat or a super sticker, every $5 earns her 3 squares. So if they donate $5, I'll give her 3 squares. But, yeah, I relocated it. So that's what it's about.
Got you. And what is it for you, over or under?
Available. I don't care. It could be on its side. It could be diagonal. I don't care.
It's got to be under for me.
Does it?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you know why? Just
no. I'm
really
curious now.
Because I've done care work and I've worked with kind of like elderly folk, sometimes when you're
Oh.
helping them off the loo, they kind of grab the toilet roll, and if it's over, the whole thing comes off the roll. But if
I
it's
can see that.
under, it doesn't do
doesn't
that. It
do
just
that. I get
floats
that.
down. Yeah. So just for the sake of
Hey,
not having to roll it back up, it all
that
stays
makes
on.
sense.
That
You know,
does
you
make
never
sense.
know. You might fall off the toilet one day and grab it, and the next thing you know,
And
you're
then you
trapped inside, you know, with toilet roll all over you.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well,
I hadn't
that's,
thought of that.
Just a practical reason. Nothing.
that's a very good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah,
good
there's
reason.
method in the madness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right, we've got Enriga Ridge asked a question. What's your number one piece of equipment or
That-
tool for ghost?
That
Ghost
kind of
hunting, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. We don't have a primary go-to. It's kind of what our gut is telling us. I mean, like I said, I think I'm most known for using flashlights. I'll turn on 3 different flashlights and I'll have them turn off and on in response to questions and stuff. That's probably what I'm most known for. But like I said, there are times where I'll just light a candle and I'll ask the flame to bend or to get taller or to get shorter, things like that. So I can't really say that there's one specific tool. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I wouldn't say that there's one specific one either, but I think ultimately your intuition is the greatest tool.
Mm.
Your brain.
No, your intuition.
No.
That's
Well,
not
your,
it's all in the
your,
gut.
your body
I
has
it's
to
your gut.
decipher it.
Yeah, going with the gut. Yep.
The gut is everything. Literally everything. Your whole life. Your gut is the
Your
key.
brain,
Yeah.
brain is still deciphering what your gut is trying to say, though, right? Fight or flight, right? Doesn't that come through your brain?
I thought you were a simple-minded,
I
simple
know.
man.
All right, disregard the question.
That's too analytical.
I'll Google it later.
I think your gut reacts quicker than your brain.
Yeah.
In most situations. I mean,
Well, and you'll hear people say, oh my gosh, my hair is standing on its end, but they're not really, it's nothing connecting to here yet. It's just, it's a reaction. It's a sensation.
it happens
First.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the deciphering sometimes comes later.
Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How we react to things, what our body does, and how much of it is just us creating also as well energy.
Absolutely.
And playing with ourselves in our own heads, with it in a way. I don't know, because who knows what control we have over what we do. If we can just being ourselves, do something deep for people, that people can connect with you, then it's not, you don't even need to know them personally.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something happening, it's not a chemical thing. It's literally something else happening that people will connect to you with. And I think, we do create it somehow, and people are putting it out there as well. And I don't know, somehow it's connecting up.
We're very powerful beings.
That's something you can't fake either, though. I mean, people loving you for your personality, they know if it's really your personality or you're putting on a show,
Yeah. And it's much easier to be consistent if you're being yourself and trying to put on an act all the time. I mean, it's just wouldn't, it's going to take it's going to kind of fade, isn't it? Or falter at some point.
Yeah, it will.
Right. What have we got? We had a couple of more questions.
Yeah, I see.
Long Island fan Victor, why are Native American burial grounds more active? Is that a true or consistent?
I'll let you answer that one because you have more experience.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I haven't gone out purposefully on burial grounds to say, hey, look, this is different than this one. I have, after the fact, I've realized that we were on Native American land. I wouldn't call it a burial ground, though. It could have been. I don't really know. There wasn't enough, in the research to confirm that necessarily. But consider who were the first inhabitants of the land we're on. I think that says a lot right there. They they were here first. And yeah, it's going to leave a longer impression and an imprint. The tribes were very tight knit. You know, you lived or died with your tribe, and so that imprint is going to be on that piece of land for a lot longer. I would, you know, and this is like I said, this is kind of just going by what I have kind of experienced on my own, but I haven't really set out to like, hey, this is a burial ground, and you know, but it makes sense.
Cute.
That was a small moment.
We're almost running out of time. I'll do one last question. It's about equipment again. Bonnie's Beautiful Chaos again. What is the one piece of investigative equipment you would really like?
A thermal imager.
That's exactly what I would say.
I would love to have a thermal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mine. That's mine too.
Everyone's talking about them at the moment, so they seem to be the thing. Yeah. Anything else?
Really, no. I mean, just more locations. I mean, I think the more we can get out there and more we could be exposed to other things other than just what's here in the state, might give us a little bit more understanding, because I know just like a lot of day-to-day routines and little cultures we have in individual states, I know they have a lot of different unique perspectives of the paranormal field, of how investigations are held, how spirits are viewed. I mean, so the more experience we could have across the country, I mean, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, I mean, that was one of the bloodiest battles, right, of the history of the country, right?
I don't know.
But I mean, you got
but it's a very historical site.
The Civil War that took place and everything like that. And, you know, we've been out there once before for work, but we were filming a paranormal team. So we were focusing on the team and not the activity. But it's just more experience, the more knowledge, the more refined your viewpoint on the situation can be. So equipment wise, again, every location is different. If I go to one location that's Native American, maybe I'll want to play some Native American music that'll stir up activity, because they can associate with that.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
But thermal imager would just be fun.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
Definitely. Well, look, guys, it'd be great to catch up with you after your road trip and see what you got on with. And obviously, I'll follow you and see. But it'd be great to catch up with you guys again. I think there's lots more we can talk about. I'm just going to put the link in the chat, guys. Go and check them out. If you've enjoyed tonight's chat, go and check out Tipa TV. Links in the description and in the chat, and follow them on their journey around the East Coast. 3 weeks sounds like fun. I know it'll be fun, and I know they'll put some great videos out and lives out. They're great people to listen to. And so, guys, again, thanks, and have a great trip. Obviously,
thank you.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. And I'll be back here tomorrow night with Jason with Anything Goes. Until then, everyone, have a great night. Oh, go and check out Zach on, I think he's on Central Florida BIGFOOT tonight with Matt. I can't find the link, but I'm going to find it. I bet I had, hadn't I? And then I've done it. Here we go. Okay, I'll put it in the chat. So until tomorrow night, everyone, have a good night and see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.